ArsenalFanTV is all guns blazing, back here for another podcast with my main man DT. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm good.
Behaving yourself?
I am actually.
You have actually?
Yeah, I've
There
behaved.
been no incidents this week. There's been nothing.
No dramas.
What's going on?
I'm behaving. I'm just blocking people now. It's like, do you know what I mean? Putting on them glasses, blocking out the haters, and it's not worth my time, is it? So yeah, I'm behaving.
It's a little bit of a feel-good week this week because we
beat Doncaster.
We'll come to that Doncaster.
Yeah.
Got that draw at Chelsea. I think everybody going into that game thought to themselves, you know what? I'll take a point right now. And in the end, going away from the game, we're kind of like, you know what? We could have won that game. You know what I mean? It was a close game.
Yeah.
But we had the chances. We hit the post, and Lacazette had that chance where he blazed over and. You know, we played pretty well in that game. The team put in an impressive performance.
Yeah, do you know what? I would have actually come away from the game without getting battered. Do you know what I mean? I said that if we would have lost that game by the odd goal, but we put 100% in and really, you know, showed up and give a bit of pride, then we would have accepted that and said, look, Chelsea were the better team on the day. But yeah, we come away going, if only. You know, but then you know, it's hindsight, and you look and you think, if Lacazette scored, would that have changed the complexion of the game? Would Chelsea have stepped up? Would Hazard been on longer than he did? And he looked quite dangerous when he come on in that last 10 minutes or so. So you never know how the game might have panned out. But overall, on the 90 minutes, I think we just edged it. I think we were the better side. I think that Chelsea had more shots, but they were shots that were not any real note. You know, Petr Cech didn't really have anything to do.
There's one shot from Hazard.
But even that was straight at Cech. And apart from that, I sit there and think, you know, there was the incident in the first half where Pedro went through and it was a combination of Cech and Koscielny. But apart from that...
Good defended.
Yeah, did you feel really threatened in that game?
No, I didn't.
And that was the thing.
I was disappointed when the game finished and we haven't won the game.
Yeah, exactly. And to come out of there with that weird mindset, it's kind of, you're happy because, all right, we've got that point and we've showed that we can go to a top six side. But then the flip side of it is, I'm wanted 3 because we should have got 3. And is that a missed opportunity?
Heart, desire, fight, all the things that we've been asking for, they showed in that game.
100%, but it's about consistency, Robbie, and I've said this to you. It's all well and good, you know, I see some people, and I'm not going to criticise people for their opinions and stuff like that because it's their opinion, but I see some people, you know, even doing interviews on ArsenalFanTV and it was like they were celebrating a draw, and I can understand why people were so happy because when you go to the likes of Liverpool and you get battered 4-0, and when you've been to the likes of Chelsea and got battered 6-0, and then it does give you that sense of like, is this the change? But I've been through so much and seen so much that I'm reserved. I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm not going, this is the turning point. This is the catalyst for change. We're going to be challenging for the league now.
Banners are on hold.
You know what I mean? But then, listen.
Banners are on hold?
Listen, the banners have been hold on anyway, man. What am I going to... At the end of the day, they didn't listen
after Liverpool, you said banners were coming back out.
No, I said I should bring them out. I should do. But it's just... I look at it and over the last few years, you can pick out certain games during the course of a season where we've put in them performances. A couple of years ago, we smashed Man United at home 3-0. And everyone was going, oh my God, look at this Arsenal. We then smashed Chelsea 3-0 at the Emirates. No, but even so, there were certain games where you would go, oi, this looks like a different Arsenal. We need to be really worried about them. And as fans, you feel like you can get excited. This could be the season. And then it falls apart. And, you know, yes, it was a drastic improvement from Liverpool. We couldn't have got much worse than Liverpool, to be honest. But I'm not getting ahead of myself until I see further evidence that this is a consistent thing.
The players are obviously stung by that Liverpool criticism because the way in which they performed since and the way in which they performed in particular in that game, you could see they're stung. I spoke to somebody sort of internal at Arsenal, and he said to me, he goes, the way they've been training is like they're on a mission to show people that they're not as bad as what they showed at Liverpool. And, that was...
Do you know what? I think that there is things going on internally at Arsenal that we're not all privy to. And I think that one of the good things is the transfer window's shut. So it's kind of gave everyone that. There's no, is he going? Does he want to go? Does he want to stay? There's none of that. It's right, this is our team. Until January at least. Right, then we'll address the Alexis situation again and everything else. And we'll have a month of hell and, and all that. Yeah, but... and it's right now it's about focusing, and you know people within the club. I know people within the club, and I know someone close to a first team player, and he said to me that they're hurt. They were hurt after that. They were.
So they should be as well.
They were angry with themselves.
Yeah.
They were angry with their own performances. They needed to take a long, hard look in the mirror, and they feel like they let the fans down. They totally have no objection to the fans' opinions and the abuse they were getting. Abuse, you can't say it was abuse. It was, we booed them and we said that you're not fit to wear the shirt. And I feel that was justified. It wasn't while the game was going on. It was when the game had finished. And you'll know, even when we were 4-0 down, we were still singing and we were still trying to get behind the players. And we were even... making jokes of things about we're going to win the league, and we were just trying to get through that day, and it was the worst day going, and it was, and that's the beauty of football fans. You can try and turn such a negative into.
Listen, hold on now. So there was something in that game, right, that was different about that Liverpool game. Do you know what that was?
What?
Can you guess? There's something in that game.
No, it wasn't because Mesut Ozil wasn't playing.
No Mesut Ozil.
Hold on. Oh, God,
no Mesut Ozil. No Alexis. And they played better as a team. Two guys that haven't signed new contracts. Two guys that, over the years, Ozil in a lot of games away from home has been awful. Hasn't put the right amount. Hold on, let me finish.
Go on,
hasn't put the right amount of work and effort in. We've spoken about this before, right? He hasn't done that in certain. We know he's a great player, but in some of those away games, hasn't shown the right amount of commitment. Hasn't been strong enough. Hasn't been tough enough, right? And Alexis as well can throw his toys out of the pram. We know he's a great player, but sometimes in those games as well, hasn't really turned up for them. Thrown his toys out of the pram. Those two guys weren't in the team. Arsenal played better as a team. What does that show us? Is that showing us that, maybe for these big games away from home, those two shouldn't play? Or even, maybe not so much Alexis, because we know it was more of a fitness thing. Well, that's what we're being told. Ozil, though, should Ozil be left out when we're playing those big games? We got a Man United away. Should we leave out Ozil? Man City away. Leave out Ozil. Even some of them games where the big physical ones, do you leave Ozil out of those games away from home?
I think that everyone's getting too ahead of themselves and they're reading too much in it. I just think that Ramsey was more disciplined. Right. That was down to him. Iwobi played in Ozil's role. He didn't do anything no different to what Ozil does.
But he defended a lot better than what Ozil would have done.
But you know what? But this is the myth. This is the myth, and it really pisses me off, is that Ozil does track back, and he does cover a lot of ground and tries to... He's a number 10. He's a number 10. He should be playing in the position. He's there to create chances. It's not his fault that for the last 3-4 years, he hasn't had no one in front of him that can convert his chances. His statistics for the chances he creates are ridiculous. And that's what we bought him for. So yeah, maybe certain games he should come out of them, but you look at the big games and stuff. We played Man City last season in the FA Cup semi-final with Mesut Ozil in the team. We beat them. We played the FA Cup final against Chelsea with Mesut Ozil in the team. We beat them. When we tore Chelsea apart 3-0 at the Emirates, Ozil was instrumental in that.
I'm more talking about the away games, right?
Yes, so, I'm saying it depends on certain things.
None of those games you've mentioned, right, have been away at say Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, or away at Old Trafford,
but the point is,
away at City. Does he show the right amount of discipline? I mean, I know he's a number 10. That doesn't mean he can't work.
Yeah, but Robbie, you're missing a point. You're missing a point. This problem away from home has not happened since Mesut Ozil joined Arsenal. This problem of us away from home was way before Mesut Ozil.
But I'm pointing out Mesut Ozil in particular.
Yeah, I know you're pointing him out. Scapegoating him. That's
No,
what that's what this is. I'm telling you.
I love Mesut Ozil, but what I'm saying is, tactically, sometimes when you go away from home and you're going to be playing against those teams where it's not going to be like you're playing at home, you're going to have a lot of the ball. For most of the game, you ain't going to have the ball. Yeah, you go playing to Manchester City away. You know that you're not going to have the ball for most of that time.
Well, what about the games?
At United, you're not going to have the ball, right?
What about the games when Mesut Ozil's not there?
Mesut Ozil, you know, he trapped back. Is he going to put a tackle in? Is he going to, use his body strength and force a man out? Is he going to, if he has to spend a lot of that game defending, is he going to be, suited to that game?
But this is what I'm trying to say to you. Even before Mesut Ozil was here, what was our problem then? When he wasn't there, who was we blaming then?
Yeah, but it's just worse now. We've got our away record at the moment, right, has been worse.
Worse? Look, what, worse than 8-2 at Man United?
No. Before Ozil came, right, yes, we had a couple of horror shows like that. But since Ozil's been here, our away record has been even worse. Right?
Why are we pinning it on him? It's a team thing. No, because this is the thing, right? You look at Liverpool, right? One of the biggest problems was Aaron Ramsey was disappearing. Consistently disappearing, just off he goes.
Maybe the system weren't right.
Yeah, the system was exactly the same against Chelsea. But the difference but this is the difference. The difference was Aaron Ramsey actually played as a midfield pivot next to Granit Xhaka. Right. He sat next to him. He didn't go disappearing, doing all this Hollywood stuff. When he had to, and the time was right, he went. And when he went through.
And Iwobi, who's playing in Ozil's position, was much more disciplined than what Ozil would be. And we know, obviously, Ozil was a much better, a much more flamboyant player. But in a game where you're not going to have the ball...
I'm sorry, but I didn't see Iwobi doing any different to what Ozil does. I didn't see him doing
defensively, he was helping out.
No, I don't think it was.
Defensively, he was.
I don't think it was. I think it was more to do with the back three as a whole were a unit and they played solidly together for the first time. Monreal set the stall with a first tackle on Pedro.
It weren't easy.
I know it wasn't easy. But what I'm saying is, I think that them three and the two in front were what gave us the base and the foundation, and they were disciplined. Against Liverpool, they were just.
I look at it, and I say everybody gave. It was a team effort. Welbeck worked a lot harder getting back and helping out and stuff like that than what Alexis would have done. Alexis is a guy that he doesn't keep his position a lot in games, right? And we know he's a brilliant player. Maybe we don't even want him to, but in certain games, that's fine. But in other games, because he drifts in and he goes back to get them, he's never really in that left-hand side position, is he?
That's the
position he sort of roams. He roams. Now, it's all right roaming against West Brom, but when you're roaming against, Chelsea, or you're roaming around against, Man United, or you're roaming around against City, you get punished if you don't get back. That's what I'm saying. Would the team perform better away from home, leaving those guys out?
We don't know, do we? We have to wait till the next big game because they'll probably play.
Example of it the other day.
Well, no, because you haven't got a comparison.
You're picking a team.
You haven't got a comparison.
I'm asking you. We're picking a team. We've got Man United coming up. Mm-hmm. Would you leave Ozil out of that game?
No.
Ozil starts?
Yeah.
Would you leave Alexis out?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking you, man.
No chance. No chance, man. Listen, I think we performed that day to a man, and I think it was just, because of the Liverpool performance and everything else is why we performed. And I think people are reading too much into it. Oh, because Mesut Ozil wasn't there. If he was there,
why people read that.
I could see people that have got an agenda that are doing that. But at the end of the day, right, if Mesut Ozil was playing against Chelsea, then everyone would have turned around and said he was the shittest player on the pitch. They would have found a reason to have a go at him.
Do you know what? Right, listen, Mesut Ozil is one of my favourite players at Arsenal. I just love the guy. I always say to a lot of fans who don't watch him week in, week out, you don't see the stuff that guy does.
No.
It's mesmerising sometimes. And
do you
know what? Even a lot of the simple things he does, it's just, and you are right in that sometimes he creates so many things and people ain't on the end of them. However, I do have to agree with people when they talk about when he don't have that ball, sometimes he's a liability. And when you're playing against the better teams, when you're playing against those real top teams like Man City, like Chelsea, Spurs, those teams, if you've got passengers, you're going to get hurt. And that's what I'm saying.
Well,
maybe not so much at home, but away from home, where you know you're going to have spent long periods of that game without the ball. Are we better off leaving him on the bench or leaving him out of the game?
We're going to find out in less than a year's time when he leaves the club, won't we? It's very...
Plus, he hadn't even signed a contract.
Exactly. Do you know what? This is the only thing that really winds me up, right, about certain fans, is that the ones that have given Alexis so much abuse and so much criticism are the same people that don't say a word about Mesut Ozil's contract situation. Not a word. There's no difference. The only difference between Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez is that Mesut Ozil's got a better PA team behind him than Alexis. So where they go onto social media for him and say the right things, like when we was on tour and stuff, and it was like, I love the club and London and all this, and make you feel like, oh, he's going to sign. He's going to sign a new contract. Yet in reality, they haven't spoke about a contract for months. So they were saying the right things. Whereas Alexis... Right. If Alexis would have had a PR team behind him or whatever while he was away, saying Alexis is happy in London, everything's fine, it would have died down everything and everyone wouldn't have been so harsh on him. But because he deals with these things himself and he didn't have that kind of PR team around him to protect his image, so to speak, everything that come out was just negative. The moment Alexis doesn't smile, it's World War. That's it. People are looking for pictures of Alexis in the game now.
On the bench.
You know, sitting there. And I even see the images from...
it was Liverpool, wasn't it?
The images from Chelsea when he was on the bench and Lacazette missed that chance. And they're all saying he's laughing and everything. And I watched it and I'm like, shut up, seriously. He jumped up with everyone else thinking that the Ramsey chance had went in. And then and he started whacking a spinner. Like playfully whacking him, like, you know, like you grab someone when you nearly score it. He whacked him a couple of times and then realised, and the spinner's like looking at him like, what are you doing? And he started laughing to him as if to say like, oh, you know, sorry sort of thing. And everyone took that as like, oh, look at that, he's laughing because Lacazette missed. And I'm like, really? What is this? It's like, you know, when he crouches down now, that thing, when he crouches down and he's just looking like as if to say like, what is going on? It's like he does the same thing for Chile when... Yeah, but what's he going to leave Chile now?
Why did he just walk straight off the pitch the other night after that Doncaster game?
He waved. He
just went, and walked straight
What did he say in our thing? Give us a wave. Just give us one wave. Just wave.
No. Come over. You know, like at the end of that game, you know what I loved the other day at Chelsea? Every single one of those Arsenal players came over and clap the fans at the end of the game.
Yeah, and Alexis did.
Yeah, even him. Right? It's brilliant. So why is it now, after Doncaster now, he just got... And he's got off the pitch.
He's probably pissed off he didn't get a goal.
Ah, man, that's what I can't stand with these guys.
Man, I love his attitude, man. I love him. He's a winner. He's a winner, man.
So you like that? You like
well, at the end of the day, he
just walked. If Theo's done that,
he's waved. He's waved.
Any other player in the team does that.
He's waved. He's
not good enough.
He's waved.
These guys, these fans have come to watch you play. What is it hard to come over to the fans and say thank you, guys?
I tell you something. Judging by the crowds afterwards, it looked like they came to watch us, not in the game. Jesus Christ!
Just one little wave right out and he's straight down the tongue.
Yeah, well, listen.
Who's he? I love the guy. I love Alexis Sanchez, but come on, have some respect for the fans.
He waved.
You're easily pleased, man.
No, easily pleased.
On certain players, I think if that was Theo or if that was certain other players, you'd be slating.
Alexis is.
I've waited. Seriously. He does get a pass, Alexis, doesn't he?
Not really, because I tell you what, right? Because I tell you the way that he's been abused by some people recently, he hasn't got a pass
he's had a
at all. He hasn't got a pass. You look at him when he comes in his first game and he gets booed when he came on. And like I told you, there's no different to his contract situation to Mesut Ozil's. And he hasn't physically came out and said, I want a transfer. The club have said, we're going to sell you.
Said that because...
No, but the club have said, we're going to sell you. We are going to sell you. Yeah.
No, hold on.
So, and at the end of the day, he's ambitious.
DT,
he's 28, nearly 20. I know, but he's nearly 29 years old.
From the start of the summer, he wanted to leave.
Yeah, but he's nearly 29 years old, Robbie.
And?
which means that he wants to win things. He wants to.
Then win something with Arsenal. Why don't you try and...
Oh, we're going to win the league? Seriously?
Do you know sometimes...
Yeah, we're not going to win the league.
Sometimes, right, these players, I want to go and win something. So what? I want to be transported into a team with every single one of them top players that will hopefully get me. Why don't you try and win something with Arsenal?
Because obviously things are going on that we're not privy to, and they don't like it. It's like Robin van Persie. Remember when he came out and made this statement and said we're going in the wrong directions, and we all absolutely slated him. Now we're looking on it and going, do you know what? The guy was actually right.
He was right.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Alexis is looking at it. Now, when Alexis is negotiating a new contract with a club, they're not turning around and just going, how much am I being paid? They want to know where the club's heading. What's the direction? Yeah. Who are we looking to sign? Are there anyone else leaving? Are our best players being sold? What they want to know all these things. And obviously, they're not being told the right things. And then as the transfer window's unfolding, they're going, well, we've only bought Lacazette. And okay, great signing. Yeah, right, let's kick on from this now. And then they're watching and they're watching and they're watching and they're like, right, well, are we going to genuinely win the league? No. And I'm sorry, but a player's career is 10, 15 years. And you want to look back on it and go, there's my Premier League medal, there's my Champions League medal, and when we've got players like this that have come from Barcelona as well, and you're looking and they're going, fucking hell, man, Champions Leagues they've won and all this and that. And
we're off to Belarus.
You know what I mean? And this is the thing. And when you add all that together, Robbie, and I just think Arsenal as a club are absolutely shocking in terms of transfers and stuff. And last night,
can't disagree with
I was reading John Smith's book last night, right? And I got to the first paragraph and stuff, the deal, right? And I was reading that, and I even tweeted out and I said, please, everyone go and read this because it's so eye-opening. And the first paragraph is all about the Andre Arshavin deal.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there reading that open-mouthed at how stupid we are as a club in terms of transfers. Now, they got the deal up to over £13 million and Zenit wanted 15, and Arsenal weren't budging. Now, one of the key things that John mentioned in this book is that Arsene Wenger was pivotal in everything. Now, we say this now, that Arsene should not be the man that's dealing with these transfers. He should say, here's the list of players I want, go get them. Yeah? That just proves that he is involved more than he should be in terms of transfers. He should have a chat with a player, but they had to run things through him. Then it got to deadline day and they're still haggling. Arshavin is at John's house playing FIFA with Ross and that.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, oh my God. And then it got to a point.
It didn't happen.
It got to a point where John said to Zenit and the people reps and you know what? It's 1.2 million. I'll give you it. I will give you 1.2 million to get this deal done. And then Ivan Gazidis had to ring John and say, what have you done? And he went, shut up. I'm giving them the 1.2 million. And it then meant that Arsenal had to go, don't worry about it. We'll just give the 15, And if it wasn't for John, we wouldn't have signed Arshavin over 1.2 million.
I know. It's an amazing book, actually. Later on when you're reading that book, when he starts talking about the Adebayor deal.
I ain't even got that far yet.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. You'd be surprised by that.
I'm telling you.
I mean, Arsenal.
But that just shows over 1.2 million. Yeah. And then you hear the stories. Do you remember when we could have signed Schwarzer when we needed a goalkeeper? And there was a haggle over £1 million here and there. And sometimes you sit there and you go, are we really haggling over? But it just shows, in terms of negotiations and transfers, we are amateurish as a club. Arsene Wenger is too involved in transfers, where he should turn around and go, it's like walking into Asda with your shopping list. Right, I want that. That's not for sale today. Okay, yeah, right. He should give the powers that be his shopping list and say, go get me my players. That was what I need to win this Premier League. That is what I need to compete, etc., etc. But he doesn't. He's too involved. And then you've got people behind the scenes like your Ivan Gazidis, and back then it was Ken Fryer and everything else, that are just, no. Just stony face, like they're living in like the 70s and 80s still, where they believe that a phone call and a gentleman's agreement is going to get it over the line.
No more. Those days are done.
No more. You look at the David and the biggest thing about this whole deal that whacked me in the face was that John rung David Dean, who then contacted Usmanov, and Usmanov got involved behind Arsenal's backs because he was, a massive shareholder, but there was obviously the problems that were going on, and it was before Stan come in. So behind Arsenal's backs, he went across to the people at Zenit and in Russia, and because they're connected with Putin and everything else, and he got involved. Usmanov got involved. I didn't know this.
Yeah, it's a brilliant book.
Do you know what I mean? And it is so eye-opening, and it's so revealing to what goes on behind the scenes, and also at the same time, it just kind of affirms my belief that in terms of transfers, we are absolute shit. And then this is why I look at this.
I can't argue with you at all.
And that's why I think our transfer window was such a mess. That's why every year it's such a mess.
Well, that's why you've got our two biggest players sitting now with like 6 months left, and there's no team in Europe. It's embarrassing for me, I think.
It is.
Because there's no team in Europe, top team, that has two major assets like that come January can sign pre-agreements with other teams.
No, it's you look at Manchester
ridiculous.
United and you think of Pogba, for example, or players like that. And there's no way that they would let Pogba go down to a year on his contract.
The only way United or those teams do that is if there's a player that they want to get rid of.
And then they normally sell him to Arsenal.
What did you make of the other night? Just briefly on this. The other night, Doncaster, right?
Oh.
Arsenal's lowest ever attendance at the Emirates
Still over
Stadium.
40,000, but it's
46,000. I mean,
it does show
lots of empty seats.
It does show that fans are not interested no more. The club are not appealing to them anymore. I remember even when we first moved into the Emirates and we were playing League Cup games, we were selling out.
Yeah.
There was over 55, 57,000, and it was an excitement. It was, we get to see the youngsters, we get to see, and you remember going to them games. I can't remember what game it was, but we won one. I think it was Sheffield United. I can't remember. Carlos Vela scored a hat-trick, and we won 6-0 or something like that. And it was a buzz, it was exciting, and everyone wanted to go there, and it was a chance for fans that don't normally go to get their opportunity. The tickets are £10. You can't use that as an excuse. They can't go lower than £10. Anyone can afford a tenner. Do you know what I mean? And it's your chance to go to a game. You moan so much that you can't go to games and you haven't got the opportunities and you can't get the tickets. They're on general sale. There is no excuse for people.
General sale on the day.
No excuse.
Never seen that before,
there wasn't even any touts about. Because what's the point? And at the end of the day, it's...
Why? So do you think it's just people they've had enough?
They've had enough. They've had enough with what's going on at the club. They're not. It's not appealing.
Is this where now the failure to bring in big names and stuff like that? Is this the consequences of that people say, you know what, man?
Can't bothered.
Unless it's a Premier League game, I can't even be asked.
Yeah.
Because even the Europa League game, lots of empties apart from the Cologne fans.
Yeah.
If you'd have taken them out of the mix,
you
might have had a similar
game.
That might have been a 40,000 as well.
But then you got to think, Doncaster brought 5,000 down and made an atmosphere. The best thing to happen on that night was 2 pitch invaders and the flares. That was the best thing.
I mean, it was a terrible game.
The full-time whistle woke me up.
It was a poor game.
It was
a poor game.
Awful.
And it was a typical Arsenal performance in that they should have been out of sight, had chances, and then, you play those games and you see teams and they're like, hello, 15 minutes left, we're still in this.
Exactly.
Let's just have a go.
That's what I was saying.
And there was a couple of little shaky moments in that game. Imagine how embarrassing that would have been.
Exactly. I was saying to my mate, I was turning around and going, this lot are going to get penalties, This lot are going to get penalties. And then when they had that header in the last minute and the Spina tipped it over, and I'm like...
Yeah, you could literally see, like they said to himself, right, 15 minutes ago, lads, we've held out. Let's just go for it. And they...
Exactly, because they would rather lose 2-0.
Well, you've got nothing to lose.
Exactly. So it's just like, let's go for it, boys. And they really went for it. And like I said, I've got nothing but admiration for Doncaster, the fans. And, we know all about long journeys and trips and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, they set out on their coaches at 11:30, 12 o'clock on a Wednesday.
When I was leaving the stadium around about 1 a.m, and there was a coach there broken down. I felt sorry for those guys, man.
crazy.
They're all sat on there like, you know, what time did they get home? I mean,
that's what I mean, and we've been through that. We've got to go through a similar kind, not similar, but a long ass journey next week. When
Belarus.
Belarus. It's I'm so excited. Cheers, Wenger. Thanks for this. Do you know what I mean? And do you know the funniest thing? But the price
over the years, you said, "Listen, what's the point?"
But do you know what? Do you know the maddest thing?
What is the point in getting into the
Do you know what's scary? Do you know what?
Thank you, man. You're in, huh?
Do you know what's mad? Do you know what's mad? It's costing more to go to places like Belarus and Serbia
because they're not regular places
than it is going to like Barcelona or Munich where we go.
But you know what? These places might be nice to visit. I was chatting to Vuj yesterday at the FIFA launch thing, and he's from Serbia.
Yeah, I've chatted to him, and he said
he'll be out there as well. And he was saying to me, "Guys, Robbie, beautiful place, man. You really enjoy it."
That's what I said to you in the last podcast. I spoke to him, and he said, "It's
you never know, man.
Don't believe what you hear." And you know, the only thing is for people that don't.
He did say to me though, the ultras know who you are.
Oh yeah.
And they right. I think they go, yeah, that guy. DT looks hard, man. All the tattoos.
Shut up, you mum.
Yeah.
Shut up. They're probably going to end up turning around going, hand roll.
No. Apparently they want to meet up with you in some field or something.
Yeah. Some forest. Do you know what I mean? A forest somewhere. Do you know what I mean? And they're all going to be like coming up to me like, yeah, just madness. But for people that don't understand, like Belarus, what they don't realise is like direct flights to Belarus, like Minsk, they're non-existent. So I know that I've got a different flight to you because you forgot about me when you arranged it.
Don't forget about
you know what I mean?
Man.
You hear about it. So I know Robbie's one. I think Robbie's got to fly from England to Austria to Minsk, and I've got to fly from England to Poland.
Are you going via Poland?
Yeah, via Poland. Do you know what I mean? And then to Minsk, and then on the way back, I think I am Minsk, Paris.
That's all right.
And then England. So
I didn't even know. I thought it was just direct on the way.
No, man.
Ain't it?
Ain't no direct. Yeah, exactly. That's what you get when you got a PA in it. You don't realise what you're getting booked. But so we've got to do all of this route. I know more about your flights than you, but we've got to do all of that. And then what they don't realise as well is that the stadium is a 75-minute coach journey away from where we're actually staying in the centre. We've been advised by the police not to take public transport to the stadium. Yeah, so that already is making me go, oh, okay, don't take public transport. All right, cool. Arsenal have had to lay on special coaches from the town centre to the stadium.
And that's going to be like, did you see the ones in Greece?
That's what I mean.
It's like you're driving in an armoured
vehicle. They got like metal shutters down the side.
And then when you're driving in them now, you're like a target.
Exactly. So they all know.
They're like on the road and they're like, you know, I didn't go in that last time. When I was in Greece, man, I went in a taxi. I was like, I ain't going in. Those things look like, you know, honestly, it looked like you see Mad Max.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something. It was like something the A-Team had just built.
I was like, I ain't going on that. I was like, I'll take a taxi.
And that's the thing. And then
take a taxi and keep my head down.
And then you've got the Serbia one. It's literally a flight in and out. There ain't even no staying. It's like, let's get you in and out of there now.
Yeah, all those things I think is wrong, innit? Because you want to be able to sample the place and stuff like that.
It is, but it's just getting the booking. It's just trying to arrange everything, and it's you know, it's near on impossible. And flight companies, they absolutely mug people off because the moment the draw gets announced and the day, then there's a 3-4 day window around that fixture where a price to Minsk could cost you £75 has now gone up to £350, £400. Do you know what I mean? And I'm telling you, even when we went to, what was the one where I had one of my famous rants when I first came on to the...
Practically everyone.
But this was one of the ones that kind of like put me on the map, so to speak. The one where we went away from home in the Champions League, first game, and we lost. And it was out in...
Bulgaria?
No. Before that, it was... something Prague. Was it Prague or something?
Croatia.
It was there.
Zagreb.
But Zagreb. Even there,
Zagreb was nice though.
It was lovely. But even getting to there, they made it all difficult. And I remember in the rant, I turned around and said, I've spent over £500 on this trip. And that was because they made it so difficult and they bumped so many prices up.
Again, to go there, was it via Slovenia? I had to go.
That's what I mean. I had to go there. I had to go Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's
By
like...
Slovenia. I mean,
And
these
beautiful
playing
city.
easy, man. And
Beautiful city.
This is why, we're just going back onto like the Alexis thing for a second, right? This is why when those fans do those journeys, come on, the least you can do is come over and say thanks. But you see,
it'd be interesting.
That's the disconnect with football players from fans, because
there is a big disconnect.
They ain't done that, have they? They've had their plane laid on. They've got straight there. They're not thinking about. I've been away and I've seen fans. They've like gone via this country. They've gone like 4 different countries just to get to that game. And at the end of that game now, you can't come over to those fans and say thank you.
I'll tell you something. I'd be very, very...
I don't care who you are. Alexis, Neymar, Messi, say thanks. Have some respect for those fans.
Neymar's got bigger problems worrying about who's taking penalties and stuff. But,
have respect for the fans.
My biggest fear is what team's going to play in Belarus. Because is it going to be the same kind of team as Doncaster?
It'll be the same sort of team as Doncaster.
It will be.
You've got to rest.
But then if we lose, we can't moan.
No, but you know what? For me, right, when I look at the team that played against Doncaster, there's a lot of experience.
Exactly, and it's strong
Giroud, Sanchez was playing. I mean, I wouldn't expect him to play out there, but Walcott, all these guys. I don't want to. I really want us in this competition to literally do like what, because to me that's an advantage as well. Against Chelsea last week, we were able to rest our whole 11. That means they could put their feet up.
Exactly.
Chelsea,
and they were fresh.
Even though Chelsea had a very much weakened team against that carrier bag who they was playing, because they're quite a weakened team at home. But if Chelsea had to go away in the Champions League, they would have had to have played all their strongest team. You can't really rest our entire team.
But you could actually see the difference between us and Chelsea.
Yeah, because
in terms of levels, because we had a week's break.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That is what I think we should do in the Europa League. Until if we get further down in it, fair enough. But complete
and we should have strong enough team to beat Bate Borisov. We should, without disrespecting them. Because you've got full internationals. You've got a World Cup winner at centre back.
You've got you've got a guy in goal that's been in the World Cup. You've got Mertesacker in there. You've got lots of experienced players.
You've got El Neni.
Even guys like Chambers and stuff like that, these are experienced guys.
Exactly. So there should be enough in there.
Should be enough.
And I would like to see players like maybe even like Tuba get an opportunity as well.
Yeah.
Because
chance for him.
The thing was, I watched your interview with him when you was at the FIFA thing, and he's been at the club 15 years, and the one thing, he knows Arsenal.
Yeah, give him a chance.
He will play with his heart. And
this is how we see these guys emerge. Like I've said before, that's how Tottenham saw Harry Kane come through. It was by him playing in the Europa League. So I don't want to see our main players playing in that until later on in the competition.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Let's use that as a way of trying to concentrate on that league.
And I just hope that they realise that the journey that some of us are making.
Well, I don't think they do. And that's where the disconnect from the fans is.
I think
that's where the club should be sitting down those players and telling them about these journeys and that the fans have to make. And that is the reason why at the end of this game, Alexis, Ozil, whoever you are, go over to those fans at the end of this game and clap every one of them.
I think
regardless of win or lose, these guys they've done.
I know that some players do, and it's not all the time. But I think with games like Belarus, for example, where you look at it and say, right, this lot are coming all the way out here on a Thursday night. They know that our first team's not going to be playing, and with all due respect, we're actually in agreement with that. Why don't all 11 of the players and the players that are on the bench or whatever go over there, just throw your shirt in the crowd. Just say thank you. Yeah. Because it could land to someone that will give it to their kids. Or, if I got one, I've got a 6-year-old boy and a 2-year-old and everything else, what I could say,
DT, it's what I've been saying for years. It's wrong with not even just Arsenal, football in England. It's the disconnect between players and the fans. And
they don't realise.
Until these players, and even the players, the clubs, realise we're always going to have this situation. I've been, when we went to Germany and you see the way those players come over at the end of the game and they clap the fans. I remember my friend in Germany saying to me, he goes, Robbie, do you think, I've seen Mesut Ozil at Arsenal just walk straight off the pitch at the end of the game. He goes, do you think he could ever have done that when he was playing for Werder Bremen? Absolutely no way. And let me, because time's running, West Brom, on Monday.
Oh, do you know what? Quickly about that
Standard
as well.
work.
I would like to say to the FA,
going to be a tough game.
I'd like the message for the FA. They're a bunch of pricks. Because what kind of idiot at the FA turned around and looked at the fixtures and went, Arsenal are playing in Belarus on Thursday. You know what? Let's make them play on a Monday.
I know.
Fools. And there's another disconnect with them and reality and football in general.
Well, again, it's not even so much the FA; it's the TV companies.
But
so
all
TV.
Who's doing that Monday?
TV. I don't know. Probably
let's
Sky.
Let's call out Gary Neville.
But you know,
let's get Gary Neville. Part
it's
two.
not Gary Neville's fault.
Yes, because he's doing Monday Night Football.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have made
exactly. I bet Gary sat there and went, see them wankers down at ArsenalFanTV think they could get me in that room that day, and terrorise me. Not having it. Right, Monday Night Football. We'll stick them there, West Brom, and then they're going to Belarus on Thursday.
It's not Gary Neville's fault.
Yeah, Gary, you're watching. It's your fault.
We got West Brom on Monday. They've been playing all right. West Brom
They've been done all right.
Man. And we know what we're going to get.
Yeah,
they're going to come. They're going to be, disciplined. And this time they've got some better players around.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got Kieran Gibbs is there, and they brought in a few players, and that'll be a tough test.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because he'll want to prove a point because he's been made surplus to requirements. So he'll want to. They started off really well. I think they won the first 3 games, didn't they? And then they lost, and then they drew. They're above us. So
it's a must-win, really.
Yeah, it is a must-win. Every game's a must-win, but we've got a period of. So I'm laughing at him. Yeah.
He's got a bit cold in the background.
But we're going into a period of games now where we've got over them real tough ones away from home and stuff. We've got a load of winnable games, and we've got West Brom.
And you criticise me for saying
it's so mad. But because of our poor results at Liverpool and Stoke and stuff, and because of the way that the 2 Manchester clubs are flying, we've got to, regardless of everyone thinking it's funny or anything else, we've got to stick to their coattails. We've got to try and hang on in there. So we've got a run of games where we play West Brom, we play Brighton, we play Watford. With all due respect, we should be picking 9 points up out of those. I'm looking at our next 7-8 games, and they're all winnable games.
Do you know what? As you just say that about Watford, I was chatting to Troy Deeney last night, right? And he goes to me, he goes, last year, when they beat us, he goes, the Watford players were looking, they heard Wenger saying, talking about the Watford game almost as if to say, well, we got Watford next, so and he goes, that fired them up. They were all there like, oh, what? You're just assuming you're going to beat us?
And they were on fire in that first half.
Remember they tore us apart.
They were 2-0 up, weren't they? And they could have been 3 or 4 by half time.
He was saying to me that fired them up. So we can't take any of these games for granted.
Of course not.
But I agree with you. And then those are all games that if we're on our game,
we'll win.
We can win those games.
Yeah.
So and then all of a sudden we could be right back in the picture.
Exactly. And what you've got to remember is with all due respect,
confidence.
Man United haven't played anyone yet. They haven't played anyone. And it's. So they're going to get their tough run of fixtures.
Everton.
But I think they played Everton at the right time because Everton are going through that transitional period. And what you've got to remember, but listen, let's look at reality. Until 83 minutes, Everton deserved to be drawing that game.
Yeah, that's true.
They played really well.
Yeah, but they didn't.
And you look at it and they won 4-0. Man United won 4-0 at Swansea. It was only 1-0 until the 80th odd minute as well. So there might just be a little bit...
You sound a bit like Ty.
No, but I'll never say... You ain't catching me round with schoolgirls on a bus, right? But and I just look at those things and I just think to myself, you know what?
It's still early.
They've got some tough tests when they go and play in the Champions League, and then they've got to go to a Chelsea or that's when the real test is. And if they get through them periods and they're still smacking teams 4-0, then I'll hold my hands up and say, boy,
Well, listen,
a long way to go.
Listen, that's the end of the show today. Don't forget to leave us your comments. You know what? In the comments as well, tell us about subjects and that as well that you'd like to discuss with this man here. I know he's a very controversial figure, right? So, and I'll be reading some of the comments there. So anything you'd like to discuss next week with Mr. DT, let us know what that is.
And let's discuss his charity single.
Oh, you knew he'd tried to start.
Sorry, I had to get it in there.
I'm
going to keep going and going and going.
Off about this guy, right? Everywhere I go, people one snitch. Everywhere. You
can't even remember your own song. It's 1 snip, 2 snip, 3 snip. That's how it actually. You do the sniff before you say it. You've got to remember your own song, bro. Especially if you're going to remake it.
I'm retired.
You're not retired. He's coming back.
Listen, thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget to subscribe. I will be back next week.